Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. A'udhu billahi shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi ishrah li sadri yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس بينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخرى يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. This ayah is ayah number 185 of Surah Al-Baqarah. It is the only ayah in which the month of Ramadan is mentioned by name. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first defines Ramadan, what it is. He says, Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was sent down from above. So the significance of Ramadan is that the Quran was revealed in the month. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on to say, what is the Quran? The Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, it is a guidance for mankind and clear proofs of guidance and a criterion to determine right, to distinguish between right and wrong. And it says not only guidance, but Allah says hudan linnas, which means guidance for mankind. So Quran is a guidance for mankind. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on to say that whoever from you they are sick or on a journey, they can fast other days. First, those who when you see the moon, you should fast the month of Ramadan. Whoever of you lives to see this month shall fast throughout it, but who is ill on a journey shall fast the same number of days. God wills that you should have ease, that there should be ease with you and no hardship. He does not desire to hardship through you, and He says that you should glorify Him for His guidance and be grateful to Him. So the Quran is a miracle, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed in the Quran, is given a challenge to people to come up with something similar to it, and so far nobody has been able to fulfill the challenge to come up with something which is like the verses of the Quran. So this is a miraculous book, and it is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the miracles of the Quran is that it is a book which is good forever. All its verses, all its commands, they hold good from the day that it was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ 1400 years ago, and now and forever. Anytime anyone who takes up the Quran and reads it, those verses, those commands are relevant today, and they will be relevant forever. And when a person takes up the Quran and they read it with sincerity and reflect on the verses, they find meanings. And every time you read it, you come up with a meaning that you did not know before. You discover a new meaning. So that is the miracle of the Quran, a book that never is outdated. It's every time you read it, it's right up to date. At that time, it is relevant. That is the miracle of the Quran. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the reason for creating a human being is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also the human beings will be judged on the day of judgment. And what are the commands? All the commands are in the Quran. And the criterion for judgment is also in the Quran. So we have to read the Quran in order to know what is expected of us and to know what is right and wrong, how we will be judged. But for this reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, He has dedicated a whole month, the month of Ramadan, called it the month of the in which it was Quran was revealed, and also it is the month in which we study the Quran. We also read it in our Taraweeh prayers. But the most important thing is to know the meanings, what it means, and then to reflect on the meanings, and then to act upon them. And to make it easier for us to understand the Quran, Allah has commanded for us to fast. When a person is fasting, he is staying away from food and drink and other carnal desires, because the reason he stays away from it when he sees the food or drink is that he knows that God is watching him, Allah is watching him, and so it increases his consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah is watching me, I should stay away from food and drink and intimacy, and also we are required to stay away from other sins. We are supposed to not backbite, lie, cheat, deceive. All of these things we are not supposed to do, and we try to purify the heart. Fasting just helps us to make the heart pure and helps us to obey the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. During the fast we are conscious of Allah and all is good, but the challenge comes when we break the fast. When we break the fast, we are allowed to eat all you can eat, and typically an iftar has a lot of good food, dahi baras, biryani, chole, murgi, everything that anybody wants to eat. The challenge is to only eat to satisfy the hunger and not overeat, because if we see all that good food and fill ourselves up, we are just erasing all the good the control, self-control we developed during the fast. So we have to be careful about that and just eat how much we need to eat. And Ramadan is a very blessed month. Everything, every act of worship, every good deed has many times the reward of it. And the fast itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, it is for me and I will give the reward. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being so generous, the most generous, the reward is really unlimited. We don't know how much reward we will get just for one fast. So this is a very blessed month. The first 10 days are mercy, the next 10 days are forgiveness, and the last 10 days are protection from the hellfire. And in the month of Ramadan, during the last 10 nights is the night of Qadr, the night of power, in which all the angels descend with all commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the next year, all the planning, what is to be, what is the Qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And any worship done during that night is equal to worshipping for 1,000 months, which comes up to 83 years. So we have to take full advantage of this, and we have to learn the Quran so we know its meaning, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding, try to understand it, and then it is incumbent upon us to relay the message to the other people. And since in the Ramadan Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has locked up all the shayateen, they are locked up, they don't whisper, so it makes it easier for us to even convey the message to the non-Muslims, because of the non-interference of shayateen, they will understand it, what we are trying to say, and it is our duty that we should convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to humankind. May Allah make this Ramadan, a blessed month for all of us, a very successful month in which we get the most taqwa and get closer to Him بإذنه. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لكم